folks running around on TV blaming progressivism for Democratic Party underperformance. I was curious, so I decided to open the hood on struggling campaigns of candidates who are blaming progressives for their problems. Almost all had awful execution on digital during a pandemic. This is insane. Underinvestment across the board. Some campaigns spent $0 on digital the week before the election. Others who spent did so in very poor ways. If I spent only $12,000 on TV the week before an election and then blamed others after, you'd ask questions. That's how it looks seeing this. Ideology plus messaging are the spicy conversations a lot of people jump to, but sometimes it's about execution and technical capacity. Digital execution was not good. Polls were off. Ironically, the DCCC banned the firms who are the best in the country at Facebook because they work with progressives. Also, the decision to stop knocking doors is one people need to grapple with and analyze. Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib never stopped and may very well have helped deliver Biden the presidency because...
Super spreaders.
Yeah.
Super spreaders.
I thought they weren't supposed to do that during the pandemic.
Look at that right there.
That's what's so
we have
weird.
COVID. We'd like to deliver. We'd like to deliver our message to you.
Well, that's what's so weird, because I thought the Biden campaign said don't knock on doors for health reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So they're what? Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib are like, fuck you.
Well,
Yeah, we gotta win
part of
this.
Biden's campaign was like, we're taking the virus seriously, unlike Trump. It's like,
Right.
sending people door to door and handing you shit isn't exactly taking the virus seriously.
Well,
Now, do you-
and I mean,
Go
and
ahead.
also like Ilhan Omar, like these are people in like super safe districts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Well, they're
disagree
also-
with anything she's saying about digital and stuff like that, or advertising?
Yes.
I mean, she's talking full on manufacturing consent.
Well, no,
I
because
think we've tapped into something.
as you brought up earlier, saying had all these swing districts where the Democrats outspent the Republicans, and it didn't make a difference.
Yeah, totally. You can't
Well,
manufacture
and
consent.
Also, as far as door to door knocking goes, Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar live in very densely populated districts.
Right.
Like, that's a realistic option, walking around the district and talking to people. That's not an option everywhere, especially rural
Yeah,
districts.
You get on your horse, you
Yeah.
ride to the house over.
Well, and I sent you 3 pictures I want you to put up, Adam, that are
All right.
related to this. But it's also, to me, it's really obnoxious that AOC is like in the super safe district and she's like chastising people in his swing districts. It's like the people in swing districts are like they're like battling the other candidate like American Gladiator style with the little baton on top of like a angry whale, while AOC is like on an island with an Uzi.
Oh, totally.
Against
Yes.
a Republican with a cardboard, tube, and she's like, "Well, I don't understand why you guys can't win your race. It's just so easy."
She's in a battleship and they've got like a bicycle with a squirt gun.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on? How come you guys can't beat these guys? It's so easy. I'm in God mode over here.
But the picture, did you get the pictures up?
Yeah, I got them. I'm putting them up
Okay.
right now.
So
Jeez.
this is very interesting. These are the
Here's the
pictures that
first one.
show.
What's this? New York District. Joseph Crowley and Frank.
Yeah, don't look at that one yet. That'll
Spot
be the
there.
last one to look at.
What? Why'd you send them in opposite order?
Because I sent the original, because it goes backwards.
Here, I
Adam.
got the last one. There
Yes.
you go.
Okay. So the first one-
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Oh,
So this is-
100,000
this is-
votes.
This is AOC's performance this time around. Now it
Oh
still
my
says
God.
71%, count, so this could
Oh
change.
my God, she's
But-
got us. She's up
But look,
40 points,
right.
guys.
But she's in a super safe district, right? Okay, she's
Yeah.
up. Yeah, but look at the next picture I sent. This is her performance in 2018. Okay,
Oh my God, she lost 10,000 votes.
Jeez.
look at the drop. Look how much worse she performed. The Republican got double the percentage on her in 2020. This is supposed to be the referendum against Trump, and she
You know what I
lost.
forgot, though. That Republican campaigned on Medicare for all.
Oh,
Deal.
that's
Failed to
that's
watch. Yeah.
And the last picture I wanted to show, which was from 2016, just to show you that it wasn't just the 2018 blue wave, is that you can see that the guy before AOC, look at the votes he was pulling. He had 82%.
Oh my God. Yeah, so AOC won this district because she primaried that guy. She beat him in the primary.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
we need side-by-side
25,000
photos. of Joseph.
25,000 people voted for her in the primary, and now we have to listen to her bullshit all the time.
Right. But
God damn it, Joe Crowley.
But this is what's so ridiculous is that they keep turning to her as like, oh, she's like this super savvy, like local politician. It's like, bitch, she's doing worse in her fucking super safe blue district now than she's doing nothing but going downhill. She's doing worse than she did last time. She's not even a person that you can look to and say, oh, she knows what she's doing, at least locally. I mean, she's totally just pandering to the internet crowd because she wants to run for president one day, which is not an option for everybody.
I heard her poll numbers were actually down in her district, and her idea for why they were down is because all the people in her district are racist. I think that's a winning strategy for the next election. What do you think?
It was actually because the media was manufacturing consent for her opponent
against her.
Here's the thing about so progressives have gone like full Fox News, and that whenever they lose, they're just blaming the media now at this point. Yes. They're like, oh, the media hates us. And here's the problem for anyone who uses that excuse. If you think the media is systemically biased against you, and you think that the media is super important to getting elected, then to what extent is your side the most electable? Like if you constantly have that obstacle, right. Then I guess your people aren't the most electable now, are they?
Yeah.
They would be the most electable if only everything was completely different. You don't understand.
If we got to set all the conditions for the race, well, then we would win every single time.
If reality was completely different, we would win every time. Well, it makes sense because that's their same talking point for like for communism. If things were just completely different, it would totally work.
Mm-hmm. My favorite example of that was Kyle Kalinske talking about the 2016 primary, Hillary versus Bernie. And he's got this smug grin on his face. And he goes, if the primary kept going, Bernie would have won. He was catching steam at the end. It's like, yeah, if we lived in a country with 75 states, Bernie Sanders would be president now.
Well, it was like they were saying that this time. They're like, oh, well, if all those people hadn't voted out and hadn't dropped out of the primary and continued to split the moderate vote in the Democrats, Bernie could have won.
Yeah. And they conveniently forget that Mike Bloomberg was still in the race on Super Tuesday.
I know. It's so absurd.
John, the Republican had a decent showing this time around. He had close to 50,000 votes, close to half of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Is like, they're going to go for that district now. They're like, finally, a socialist we can run against. We're competitive now.
There are swing seat Democratic incumbents who co-sponsored the Green New Deal, Medicare for All, etc. And if I'm not mistaken, every single one won re-election. So the whole progressivism is bad argument just doesn't have any compelling evidence that I've seen. When it comes to defund and socialism attacks, people need to realize these are racial resentment attacks. You're not going to make them go away.
God,
you can make it less effective.
Oh, shit. Oh,
if you attack defund the police, it's because you're racist, okay? Did you?
Oh my
come
God.
on, let's just be real here. Okay.
That strategy has to have diminishing returns. Like sooner, I don't think I could vote for a Democrat ever in my entire life again over the race stuff.
We haven't even talked about, I guess, the most pertinent thing to this entire fucking conversation about the progressives versus the moderates, which I'll send you another chart at.
Are you talking about the race difference?
Yes. That when you look at the
I can look it up. You tweeted it out. Oh,
yeah. Well, I just sent it to you again. When you look at the exit polls, every single race, ethnic, gender variable Donald Trump made grounds in all of them, with the exception of white males. Those are the only people that Joe Biden gained ground with. So this whole concept that, Trump is just appealing to the racist animus of these disenfranchised white males is totally blown out of the water.
You missed part of it, though. Biden made ground with white beta males. It's completely different. It's completely different.
Uh-huh. That's the truth.
I have a question for you guys. So I think that Adam, you're right when you say that the left has diminishing returns with the racist, sexist, homophobic argument.
Yeah, totally.
Do you ever worry that the right will experience diminishing returns with the socialist argument?
They already have. I think they already have.
Because I remember when Barack Obama was running, they were like, he's a socialist. He's going to kill us all.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's diminishing returns as much as it's, I guess it is. Because I've talked about this. The problem is that they have called wolf on socialism for so long that people are deaf to it, so that when you actually have socialists show up, no one's gonna fucking listen to them. They're like, well, you've been saying this for 20 years.
I remember in 2012, not only did I not know any socialists, and I was still a very online person then too. Even most people on the left call themselves capitalists. They're like, yeah, I'm a capitalist, but I believe in, this, that, and the other, regulation and all that stuff.
I didn't know. I was like on internet politics and all this bullshit for years, and I never knew anyone until recently to openly say that they were a socialist and that capitalism was bad and that liberals were bad and all this other shit. A person on the left saying liberals are bad. I never heard this before, because it used to be, when I grew up, it was conservatives were like, liberal is a dirty word. Liberal is basically a communist.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can fix this chart for white beta males.
2017, in a comment section, and it was somebody talking about how Joseph Stalin got the Soviet Union to 0% unemployment.
What?
And I was like, this guy's a troll, right? Or he's aware that they killed tons of people, and somebody brought that up. They're like, yeah, when you kill whatever X amount of million people, that'll happen. He's like, provide a source. I'm like, holy shit!
What?
Somebody defending the Soviet Union in this comment section.
You killed all the unemployed people. Of course, the unemployment rate's gonna go down.
That's the trick, exactly.
But yeah, his response to that was no, and yeah, Stalin got the Soviet Union to full employment.
This chart doesn't say the gain with the white beta males. How much more did the white beta males move?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it does.
Shows Trump.
See, it says 31. Yeah, he 31 to 23, so he lost 11.
Oh yeah, you're right. I had to do
12,
math. They can't just.
Yeah, sorry.
They can't put the math in there. So 11. We know, guys. Now 11% of beta males are susceptible to the you're a racist, homophobic, misogynistic argument.
Wow. Look at Adam. Look at this.
I'm not including Sitch in the beta male.
Well,
I want you to know,
because switch.
He's using his big. He's coming to the conclusion that Biden is the better candidate through using his big brain.
That's right. My big enlightened centrist. Also, I'm not a white male, so I'm a person of shadow. So I'm very offended, Adam, that you would.
Yeah.
And I'm also Jewish, so apparently I'm not white, according to some people.
Hold on. We don't know if the Judaism is in this white male category.
Exactly. Where are the Jews in this chart? I want to see that.
Terrible. This whole chart is anti-Semitic. They don't even include.
But this is what gives me hope, is that when you look at this chart, the Democrats on a national level are also looking at this chart, and they're going to reconsider this whole woke racial coalition that they thought that they were going to run on since Obama. They are.
No, they're not.
It's on a completely cynical level.
No,
you don't think
they're
they are?
not. They can't.
Okay.
They don't think straight. You're like, no.
You don't think? Wait. You don't think the cynical kind are thinking clearly about this?
Do you think?
I'm sure some of them are.
I mean,
they're kind of in.
Yeah, the centrist cynical are.
That's probably most of them.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Democrat politicians are like AOC ideologues, or do you think they're like cynical?
Will AOC be in Congress in like 3 years? I don't know.
I think they pandered to the woke mob for cynical reasons to begin with.
Yes.
And they might be worried about losing those people at the expense of these people. Like, so, Latinx or Latinx or whatever it's called.
Latinx. Yeah, I like Latinx better.
Yeah. Like, people of Hispanic origins do not care for that.
Right.
No,
but that's to appease white liberals or white progressives on Twitter.
Yep.
And
which is racist as fuck.
Yeah, they might be making the calculation that, like, if I say Latinx, I'm going to piss off X amount of Latinos, but I'm going to get Y amount of Twitter idiots to vote for me. And I think they've made the wrong calculation, but that might be the calculation they're making.
Yeah.
Well, unless those 13 white men percentage points they gained were all the Twitter liberals or the white Twitter people.
I'm telling you, I think it's a bad trade.
I don't think it is.
It's a terrible trade.
You know what one of the virtues of the Joe Biden campaign was? What? Is one of his campaign advisors said we totally ignored Twitter.
There you go.
So it's like, Twitter isn't real life, and the sooner people realize that, the better.
Definitely. Twitter is going to.
Didn't Trump ignore Twitter too? Oh wait, never mind. Never mind.
He went over to Parler.
That's a good point. I guess AOC thinks that Trump ran a good campaign because he followed her advice about how to run a campaign through social media.
Make it less effective, invest in year-round deep canvassing. Data shows that this kind of work helps blunt the force of racial resentment at the polls. If you're always running away from conversations about race, then the only people owning it is the GOP. You'll lose. And on this hand-wringing about slight POC increases for GOP...
What? Did he just say, or did he just say AOC reading? Did AOC just say that the right is the one owning the conversations on race?
He said if the left doesn't want to hyperfixate on race, then only the right will talk about race.
The right does not want to talk about race.
I know,
like
I know.
that's the furthest thing. Yeah,
I know.
No. They're kicking people out of the RNC who want to talk about race. They don't want to talk about race. What is this guy smoking?
Well, he lives in Oregon, so he might be smoking meth.
Actually, I should say does he? Steve knows his whole background.
Yep.
It's actually AOC saying that. He's reading her tweets, which makes it
he
even
agrees
more.
with it though.
Well, it's more infuriating that AOC thinks that this race stuff is. I mean, that's why I can't see her in Congress. How many people has she pissed off just by saying that her poll numbers are down because you're racist? Like, you're not going to win those people back ever. Ever.